I'm here with Ray Hale from the British Tarantula Society. Hi Ray, what do we have here?
We have here a adult female salmon pink bird-eating tarantula.
Is that its meal in the corner there?
Yeah, I mean we normally feed these spiders on crickets. These are black field crickets, and I would normally feed this spider 1 or 2 crickets per week.
So would you agree not to leave the food in the tank with a tarantula?
Yes, if the tarantula doesn't take the food within a couple of days, it's always best to remove the cricket from the tank. Simply because when the spider begins to molt, the crickets have a tendency to have a little nibble at the spider, so it's best to take them out.
So there's a bit of a debate over the colour of the crickets. Would you care to expand on that?
Okay, there are a number of different types of cricket you can feed your spider. These are what we call black field crickets, but you can also get the brown field crickets. Personally, I prefer the black field crickets. A couple of reasons. One, they are actually slower than the brown field crickets, easier to catch. And if you look at them, they're actually quite chunky, so they do have quite a bit more protein in for the spider. But I prefer black field crickets.
So unlike lizards, do you not dust them in calcium?
You can dust them with calcium if you so wish. I tend to keep the crickets alive in a different container and feed the crickets, so the crickets become gut loaded.
Okay, yeah.
And then you can feed the crickets directly to the tarantula.
Okay Ray, should we attempt to feed the tarantula then?
Yes, no problem.
She may or may not. No, crawling around a bit.
She may not.
She may not. She might be a little bit camera shy, bless her. No. So you can leave this cricket in for a couple of days, can't you?
Yes, I mean if your tarantula doesn't take the food straight away, a number of reasons, she may not simply be hungry. Or she may be pre-molt. She may be approaching a molt, in which case she'll go off her food altogether. It's nothing to worry about if your tarantula doesn't eat. Tarantulas can go quite lengthy time without food. As long as you're happy with the humidity and the temperature of your spider, then there's absolutely no worries on feeding.
So Ray, do you have any other tips for us, like spraying the enclosure?
Really, my own personal collection, which is quite large, I tend to feed and water the spiders at a different time. Reason for that is that if you have a high humidity in the tank and you put a cricket in, the crickets are more likely to drown. So I tend to water and then a couple of days later feed. That way the water has a chance to settle into the substrate.
So the crickets, when you're leaving in there, they do have a tendency to go into the water dish?
Yeah. If you keep water dishes in your enclosures, crickets will go to the water, so you have to keep a close eye. If the cricket drowns in the water, make sure you take it out, because the crickets will then sort of start to deteriorate very quickly.
So if the tarantula doesn't feed, how would you then remove the cricket?
You can remove the crickets with the tweezers and just sort of general housekeeping.
So it doesn't look like it's going to feed today. Thank you very much Ray for coming in.
Pleasure.
Thank you.